channel. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Women Business Channel for inviting me to this wonderful event. Today, I'm going to walk you through the topic of what are the top retirement concerns and how to address them. What is retirement? Retirement refers to the time of life when one chooses to permanently leave the workforce behind. The traditional retirement age is 55. It used to be 55, but in recent years, the retirement age has been extended to 60. In today's modern world, the concept of retirement has gone beyond what we used to believe in. We are now viewing retirement as a new chapter in our life. So some of you may have planned your retirement and even visualize it what your retirement is going to be like. Like myself, I would like to travel during my retirement. Travel to the country that I have been planned since I'm young, or even exploring some exotic places to enjoy the food there and enjoy the people there. And some of you even wanted to go back to school, learn some new skills. Or some of you would like to spend more time with your family, and do some volunteer work in the charity that you always wanted to help on. And so for most of us, the idea of going into that retirement is confronting and much to be anticipated. However, retirement can be nerve-wracking. Seeing that we can no longer hold on the security of having a fixed money salary, or if we have not found an alternate income sources that can sustain us, most would have to rely on heavily on our saving. So the common concern that arise when people starting to prepare for their retirement are like, how much of what I can live on now? Is it 500k or 1 mil? Is it that much? Is it how long it can last me? This is the second concern here. How long will my retirement fund can last me? 5 years or 10 years or 20 years? And then how much do I want to spend during my retirement? The amount of money that you may want to spend on your lifestyle expenses, you might want to spend like less than 3,000 or even more than 5,000. This is how it looks like. Even though you already retired, you still have to pay for your expenses. Do I have emergency funding after my retirement? If any unexpected event occur, like accident or even sickness happen, do you set aside an emergency funding to help you go through it without touching any other saving account that you have? Or do I want to maintain or downsizing my lifestyle during my retirement? During our retirement time, some of our children may move out from home or even move to another country. So we might think to downsizing, move into the smaller space, like a smaller apartment. So because at that time, you already maybe just two of you. So this is what we call the emptiness. So the other thing would be, do I have sufficient insurance coverage after my retirement? Frequently, we do not review our insurance policy that often, resulting in some of us still holding an old insurance coverage that might not be sufficient anymore. Or sometimes we are too dependent on the current employee benefit that the company offer, and we rarely look into our own personal insurance, or don't even have one. As a result, when retirement comes, you might get panic because you do not have one. So when you try to find one, it's already too late or even too expensive to have one. Okay, and the other thing will be, do I still have loan commitment after my retirement? Yeah, some of you might still have to pay on your loan commitment, like your car loan or even your housing loan. So even though you have $1 million, you thought that it would be enough. Sure, it just seems like a big amount, but would it be sufficient to last you throughout your lifetime? So this is what happened to Mr. A and Mrs. A. So both of them came and like to seek for advice on their retirement. Then Mr. A would like to find out that with their current financial situation, will their retirement will be achievable? As you can see, their personal details, both of them are in their 40s. They have two children, and combined income is 345K, and their objective and goal to retire at age 65. Yeah, let us go through Mr. A cash flow. In this case, the clients have too much debt repayment. The debt service ratio is too high, resulting Mr. A is facing a negative cash flow. So as you can see over here, so as a result, to improve on Mr. A cash flow, so we came up with two options. Option A is to reduce on the housing loan and also cut down some of the expenses, these two expenses here. And option B, we propose that Mr. A get a refinance from the property, one of the property here, and by using the refinance money to pay off his car loan. Mr. A was agreed with the proposal, which is he's going for the option B. So as a result, by restructuring the debts to a longer terms and cheaper interest through refinancing, the results show that the cash flow is improved. Now, Mr. A has gone from negative to able to save up to 40K, as it shows over here. However, there is still work to do on building foundation and preparing for other goals as well as retirement. Since Mr. A is agree with the proposal, the option B, he go for the option B. So as a result, surely there's some adjustment in his net worth, as it shown here with his new net worth statement. His net worth has been increased to 2.28%. It's due to two of this loan here, because he already pay off, and it's only now currently he's paying for his mortgage, two of this mortgage. As a result, because of that, his total liability have gone down a bit, and also increase in his net worth. So as main thing, we need to come back to his financial ratio to look at his emergency funding, because this is the most important thing that we need to look into that, because you need emergency funding at least 6 months. But before before Mr. A go for the option B, Mr. A is having his emergency funding is about like 5.5 month, and his debt service ratio, as I mentioned, that his debt service ratio is very high. It's about 57%. Ideally, you should have lesser than 40%. And leverage ratio, because of the liabilities, so his leverage ratio is about 84%. And there's no saving ratio at all, meaning that Mr. A can't afford to set aside for saving, because as I mentioned in the beginning, in his cash flow statement, it showed that he's having negative money cash flow, so he's unable to save up for his other purposes, like his children's education. But after adjusting and he agreed with the proposal, Mr. A now able to save up to 11%, and also can set aside at least 7 months of his emergency funding, and cut down of his debt savings ratio. And also he also need to improve on the leverage ratio over here. But financial planning is an ongoing process, so it may need time to go through it yearly, to monitor it, so that and to help him to get on track. But first thing, we have to know his current situation, how we can help him out. So let us go through Mr. A and Mrs. A retirement. Okay, Mr. A and Mrs. A wishes to retire at the age of 65, and they would like to spend of 150K on their lifestyle expenses. So from the age to the retirement age, they still have 17 years to go. So meaning that they, the first year retirement income, what they needed to set aside is 247,000, 247,000 to set aside for their first year of retirement income. So when come to their retirement fund needed, so what we were looking at is from the age of 65 during their retirement age at 65 to their expected expire age, which is 80. Normally, we will ask client, for according to their family life expectancy. Some will be like 70, some will be like 80. So according to Mr. A, according to their family history, the average is 80. So we base on that, we calculate out what Mr. A, from 65 to 80, the 15 years, what they needed for the fund, for the retirement fund needed at 65 to 80 is about 3 mil, 3.261 mil for the retirement needed during this period of time to sustain them for the 15 years. So at the time, what we find out that from Mr. A and Mrs. A, what they having on in their EPF, the total retirement fund is only at 1.4. So what Mr. A, the retirement fund totally, there's a shortfall for it is about 1.8 mil. So then we propose Mr. A that they might need to consider to extend their retirement age to 67. So at least you can see that the shortfall will be much more smaller, much more smaller compared with the first, when they wanted to retire at the age of 65. So you can see that the cost of the time frame, so they have much more longer, which is more than another 2 years to go. So at least now every month you can set aside for regular saving about 1.2, so that you can close up the gap for your retirement. So normally, it's good that you can find out how much you needed for your retirement, during your from the day of your retirement, from let's say 65 to your life expectancy. Let's say mine will be 80, same thing like what Mr. A. So at least we find out that how much is the retirement funding we needed. The ideal retirement does not happen overnight. Just like going to gym to build strong muscle, it requires time and consistency. As a result, it's advisable to start your retirement planning the sooner the better. To have peace of mind during your retirement life, you will have to start exploring and identify what visioning retirement life you desire. I hope my short sharing on retirement has given you a better idea about retirement planning. So if you still have any question or even queries, you can schedule a conversation with me to discuss your life goal at this two email here, or you can follow me through LinkedIn. Join our Money Warrior community. So see you and have a great week ahead and stay safe.
Vivi，你猜一下有声音吗？
Most of my friends or even my colleagues, they all call me with. So yeah, it's easy for you to call me since there's two with here. So yeah. So to adding on, because normally most of the Malaysian have some of the concern regarding about retirement because they worry that the fund they're having, which is like in EPF, so whether is it sufficient or even how long can it last it. So you might need to factor in some of the like inflation rates into that, so you'll know how much you needed during your retirement because with the medical, the advance of the medication, everything, perhaps your life expectancy will be much longer than that. So it's good that you have buffer of your retirement fund. Yeah.
So Viv, is there an application or is there like a calculator wise with the standard templates or to help us to calculate how much fund we will need by the age of retirement?
Yes, there is some apps on that calculation, but it's good that you seek for professional help to calculate out to find out. So because at least they will give you some of the strategy, how it works, how it plans. Because especially during this tough time, most of people, some of people are going to retire soon. So during this tough time, perhaps there's some things that it might affect on their financial planning. So it's good that you seek for a professional help on that part because you may not know how to use the apps or even how may miss out certain things. Yeah.
I mean, I agree with what you said, especially in times like this, there are so many uncounted factors that you need to know. But of course, as us, we do not know all these things. We're not aware. So better leave it to the professionals to handle this.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
I want to find out, like, is there a suitable age that we should actually start to plan for retirement?
Yeah, it's a good question. There's a lot of people thinks that I am still young. Like Vivian, you yourself you are still young. You are very young, so they might think that hey, I might perhaps I have still have time to think about my retirement. No, when you start working, when you start to save in your EPF, you should think about your retirement. So as soon as you can start, so means that you have much more time to save up. Yeah.
Oh, so as early as possible lah.
Yes, as early as possible because you might during your time now because everyone have a different life stage. During your time, perhaps you have some dreams or even your goal is different. But when you reach my age, my goal is different. My dream is different. So you may know actually financial planning is an ongoing process. So it's good that you can start early so you can plan for that. Perhaps during when your times come for retirement, you're already there. Yeah.
Okay. Can you share with us, how much do you think, I mean, can you foresee that by the age of retirement, you should or you must have at least a certain fund? How much do you think this fund should be?
Yeah, that's another good question because some of us, some of my clients will ask how much, but it all depends on the individual. Whether how is your lifestyle, whether you want to maintain it exactly 100% or you want to minimize it your lifestyle. So it all depends. I can't really give you exact figures how much for your retirement. We need to find out, analyze it, and come up with a solution or even a plan for you to find out this amount whether it's sufficient for you or not because there's so many factors to factor in to see that all these factors will it affect you or even know whether you can minimize it yeah, so you really need to sit down and figure it out and seek for your advice on that part. Yeah.
Okay, I think Viv, after this, I will need to have a one-to-one with you.
Thank you.
Okay. Because I'm actually very interested to know, because a lot of business owners, we are here in Woolbees track, right? So most of them maybe are women owners, women entrepreneurs, and all those. We are not working for someone. So in a way in a way we might not have we might not allocate for EPF as well.
Yep.
So in that case, because you mentioned a lot about EPF earlier on, we should allocate for retirement. So in this case, what's your suggestion for us? What's your advice?
Okay, it's another very good question. Okay, so for business owner like us, so like myself, even though I have saved up for my retirement through EPF, I also have another account because you need few of the sources to save up. Besides, there's a few of the tools or financial products that can use it to take it as a retirement, so that in case during your retirement, then you have a few of the sources of income, so you can take it like a long-term goal or even a short-term goal or a medium goal on this part. So then during your retirement, you can figure out which goal that or which source of income that you can use it up for your during your retirement. So yeah, you get there's so many tools. Financial products that you can use it beside of EPF. Yeah.
Okay, so don't just rely on one egg.
Yes.
Just look for different and then spread it out.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
I think a couple of years ago, I've actually read through a news that said that with the retirement age, and then with those who are actually withdrawing from EPF out for their retirement fund, it's only able to sustain them for just a few years time. In fact, it's not enough. Is this still valid until today?
Sadly, yes, because one of my client was in tears when she found out that she cannot retire. So that's the reason why I'm always advise client to have few of the sources of income for your retirement, so that you at least you have few of, like what you mentioned just now, a few basket, so they can choose one of the basket for each of the goals. So, and beside on that part, you need to find out during your retirement, is there any other sources for income? Any other sources income means that maybe your investment, or maybe some of the properties that you rent out, that will help you, so you don't depend on one basket. So if that basket is not sufficient enough, yeah, it's very sad. Yeah, most of Malaysian do not have this concept or even ways to save up for the retirement. Yeah.
Wow, it's very heartbreaking to hear all this thing. I think a lot of old people until now, maybe they're even struggling, especially in times like this, challenging times like this. We don't see it every day, but they are out there really suffering because they did not plan ahead, or if
Yes.
you did not plan since young. So this
Yes.
is actually a very important question to ask ourselves, in fact.
Yes, indeed. It is a very, you need to ask yourself. Because even though you say that, will it be too late for you? No, you still have time. Even though your period of time of going in retirement, perhaps you really need to sit down and figure it out, and then let the professional to help you out to sort out what kind of sources that you have in hand now to help you figure to allocate it for your retirement. Yeah.
Okay, understand. Now, is there any sort of advice you can share with us, just as a simple guideline, for those of you, if you just want to just start to plan ahead, what are the things they can do to plan ahead first?
Yeah, you first thing you have to know your cash flow. How's your cash flow like? Manage on your cash flow first to see that whether you're at the status of a healthy status or maybe a unhealthy. Figure out how's your spending like. Do a budget, so at least you know monthly how much you have, and then you can allocate it in different basket. Meaning that Yeah, what I'm talking about is your retirement, or maybe others like your another emergency. Because another thing is your emergency during your retirement time is very crucial, because during that time there's not much of income coming in. Emergency is will be playing a very big part for you. Yeah, so you need to do all these basic things, and another thing will be checking on your health plan, which is like your medical card, whether it's sufficient until your retirement. All these simple steps. Yeah, just only a simple step. Manage well on your cash flow, and then allocate some of the whatever you have extra, put into a few basket, so that you won't be at least you have a peace of mind during your retirement. Yeah.
Okay. How often will you suggest us to do this kind of check?
It's good that you can do it like monthly.
Oh, monthly.
Yeah, monthly. You can check it out, because at least you know how's your cash flow like. And then the other thing is, I think most of us has this habits here. We like to buy online, impulsive. Yes, especially during this time, because everyone is working from home, right? So we have time. When we have time during our lunch break, we will scroll on our social media and look
Yep.
at it. So
Totally
try to
agree.
control that. Yes, please, please. Yeah.
Try to control. You know what? No, for me, what I would usually do is I will add it all to the carts.
Yes, and then figure it out later,
And then
right?
I'll figure out, should I
Yes,
check out or should I not? Let's think later.
yes,
Get out of the app
yes,
first.
yes. And yeah, this is another thing that you can do that. And then the other thing is identify your priority, the
Mm,
needs, the wants. Is it priority for your, is it possible? Is it you really need it? So think about that. Yeah, like what Vivian do, put in a cart first, like what I did also.
And most of the time when I come back in, it's either the stock has finished, sold off, or it got more expensive already than the price
Yes.
that I saw. So most of the time, I wouldn't pay for that already.
Indeed, this is what I did also. Put in the cart and then figure it out later. Is it okay? Buy this? Yeah, I really need it. Yeah, yeah. It's a
Because I
good.
think I saw previously a friend of mine shared this with me about impulsive shopping. Like you said, this time nowadays, oh my goodness, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Especially during like what they say, like 8 8 lah, 6 6 lah, all these dates. So they try to attract us with all those like
Yep.
discount. Yeah. So try to control yourself.
Try to control. Yes, unless you really see it's huge sales, because I do compare. I do compare like before 6/6 or what is the usual price. And then
Yes.
on 6/6, what is the price? Well, not all have huge sales lah. Okay, some are just slight difference.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
come to think about it, if do you rather save that few ringgit or would you rather save the 100 ringgit over to buy that thing?
Yes, yes. But first thing you have to identify, is it priority?
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
is it
one a bit
priority?
show how stingy I am a little bit lah.
No, this is not stage, but you still can know. You still can. Sometimes you need some acknowledge yourself, because you've been working so hard, right? So
Yep.
you can allocate some of the fund for yourself, to love yourself more.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
For food, I would like buy for food.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm fed well.
Yeah, exactly. So same as me. So I will allocate a small amount just to acknowledge myself. So like every month I work hard, right?
Yep.
So
Yes.
yeah, you can do that. Not that we want to control you. You try it.
Then what about you yourself? Because you said you will also allocate some fund to for your monthly to also reward yourself. How do you actually separate your budgets? Do you have say one is for emergency, one is for play, something like that? How do you separate that?
Yes. I have this. So I will take it, because I have a financial planner. We have a tools, so we will take it as this is for my emergency. So means that it's only used for emergency. And another fund will be like my fund. I always call it a fund. So just to acknowledge myself for traveling, or things that I want to buy. So I will allocate. So every month I have a budget on that part. So how much is allocate from my income? perhaps like 10% or 5% of it, and I just allocate 5% for my fund, another 10% or 20% for my emergency, or even another 10% or for my other saving goals. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually a lot. If you really want to break it down, that's a lot of things to
Yes,
cover.
there's
So
a lot. Yeah. Yeah, so at least in case if anything happen, so you can know that which funds that you can withdraw out and then use it for the purpose. Yeah.
mm-hmm. Okay, thank you so much, Viv, for sharing with us
welcome.
here today. I hope that Viv here, based on the sharing and the Q&A here, you guys, you girls, you women out there, you got some learnings today. Okay, please make sure you've learned something from Viv. If you want to reach out to Viv, later on we'll paste her contact details at the chat box. So Viv will later on pass over the contact details, and you can reach out to her if you've got any questions, if you want to arrange for a consultation with her. Okay, don't be shy, don't be shy, just go ahead and approach Viv. She's pretty nice, okay, as you can see from our conversation. She's very nice and easy. Yeah.
Thank
All right.
you.
So thank you so much, everyone. The next session will begin in a short while. So you guys can also stay tuned with us. The next session is starting at 11:30, okay, on Fuyo Money, 8 practical steps to start your financial independence journey. All right, I will see you all in the next session. Bye-bye. Thank you so much, Viv.
Thank you.